everybody good to go? Anne may join us. She's put in apologies for possible lateness because she's at another meeting. So I think we will kick off when you're ready. Are we going to be live streaming this or what?
It'll be uploaded at a later date.
Okay. So we're good to start, Kim?
Yes, when you are ready.
Okay. So welcome everybody to this extraordinary meeting of the Bay of Islands-Whangaroa Community Board. 6 o'clock, Thursday, the 10th of April. I will ask member Roddy Pihima to open us with a karakia, please, Roddy.
Ino i tātou. E te matuata tamatu wairu e tapu me ngānihira puna me te māngai tautuko hai. E te māngai hume te kawarau ngā tuku āroha me te kaupapi te me. Pō, hume te awhina tia moto. Ana hira, me te matuata tamatu wairu e tapu me ngānihira puna me te māngai tautuko hai. Ahi. Aia.
Kia ora, Roddy. Moving on, I have apologies from our Waipapa member Tyler Bamba and apologies for possible lateness from Councillor Court, who has got another meeting but is hoping to join us. I will move. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Lane. All those in support?
Aye.
Aye.
That's carried. So we'll move on to, we've only got one item to deal with this evening, item 6.1, allocation of Pride of Place funding 2024 to 25. I will put the recommendation and then we will have a discussion around this from the report writer and opportunity to answer questions on items A to D. So the recommendation is that the Bay of Islands-Whangaroa Community Board allocate $85,613.03 funding from their Pride of Place budget to A, $11,234.78 excluding GST towards the purchase of football goalposts and nets. B, $27,788.25 excluding GST towards the purchase and installation of league goalposts. C, $16,590 excluding GST for the purchase of 3 shipping containers and transportation to Te Puawaitanga Sports Complex. And D, $30,000 excluding GST for the installation of CCTV at Te Puawaitanga. Do I have a mover?
I will.
Thank you, Lane. And a seconder?
Jane.
Jane can do it.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jane. And just before we go to you, Lane, as mover, I'll open this up to the report writer to come to just give you a brief on this, and then you might like to ask some questions before we move to you. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much. Just as a way of an update, there is $100,000 remaining still in your Pride of Place funding budget. You also have an additional $64,050 remaining in your community grants budget, with more rounds to come for those allocations as well. We did meet on site this afternoon with sports codes, where there was a discussion around the third football field actually being shared between league and football. Just as an update, the league posts that are currently on the domain can be moved, and this can be used as a hybrid field if necessary. The CCTV, unfortunately, we couldn't get you an exact costing for that work. However, it would be no more than $30,000. So whatever we don't spend would then go back into your Pride of Place budget. Now, this work is going to start taking place from next week if this funding is allocated today. So we will have a reasonable time frame to put whatever isn't used back into your pride of place funding budget for reallocation, so that it is spent and allocated before the end of the financial year. But happy to answer any questions that you may have as well.
I'll go to you first. Do you have any questions?
Myself, no, I was quite happy with it. The only thing I'd say to my fellow members is that we get a chance, really quite often. A lot of the allocations we make are very focused. This one is good because the teams come from all around Northland. It's not just a Kerikeri or a Bay of Islands situation. We get to do something for the whole of Northland, which is somewhat rare. So I think it's a good thing.
Thank you, Lane. Jane, as seconder?
Yes, I guess my main question was around the CCTV, and I guess I'm reassured to hear Kim say that it won't be more than 30,000. I did note that there's no poles to put them on, which I thought was a bit of a concern, as if there's no lighting in the car park. And I was also wondering what would happen to the operational costs for the CCTV, because clearly there will be some operational costs and monitoring and ongoing, operation costs. So has that been sorted out?
Yes, so Tom Frost has agreed that that can come from the nothing but net budget that he has ongoing.
And you're quite confident that there are enough poles to mount them on? And
yes, yeah,
okay.
That will also then form really good lighting. So once the poles are up and with CCTV on, once we've got a lighting budget as well, that lighting will then go onto the CCTV poles, as well as any additional lighting posts that may be needed at a later date. But it certainly puts a good start for that lighting as well.
So they didn't have any lighting?
No.
No comments.
Thank you, Jane. Is that all your queries? Thank you. And I'll just go around. Roddy, did you have any questions or comments to make on this recommendation?
I think we also see our court's message. I just wanted to make sure that everyone got it, that she didn't want us to turn the area into what was it? The container.
Yeah.
So,
no, 3 containers. No.
I'm really happy with this project, and like's been said, it's going to be influential in a lot of people's lives, and not just those that are in the local community, but in the wider parts of our region. And so, yeah, I'm all for it.
Thanks, Roddy. Amy, any comments or questions from you?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are really excited about this, and it's cool to finally get there. I was just wondering, did we have a conversation with Cricket about why they need 3, and can they have them elsewhere, or?
I haven't actually been able to have that conversation with them just yet.
Yeah.
We've got until summer, and it will literally be wherever they've got their current storage, it can remain there. And look, you've got a 20-foot container to store what you need at Te Pua Waitanga. So.
Yeah. Oh, I think it looks good, and yeah, we need to have CCTV and hopefully lighting. Yeah.
And Councillor Kappa, do you have any questions for Kim or Nadine at this point?
I don't have any questions, but I just thought my thinking is around. I know that there's 2 big projects in our community area. This is one, and also Simpson Park is another. And I just sort of wonder whether, if anything, there's still sufficient resources to support them when it starts to look at their project. Other than that, well done.
Councillor Kapa, and in relation to our placemaking project at Kororaraka on the Strand, that is out of last year's placemaking, Pride of Place budget. So they're at the moment ticking along very nicely, although I know that Member Hindle may have concerns around the retention and protection of the cannon on the waterfront, which is something that I haven't actually discussed in depth with her yet. But any surplus funds would certainly be used to complete that project. And Roddy is well aware they're still in the final consultation phases over Simpson Park. Roddy, did you want to speak to that?
I had some time to speak with Robin when we had the meeting with the Kaka, the main board over there, and she was telling me that she's still weeks behind. There's been so much happening in the community, and we haven't really had time to sit down with Pam or with healthy families to figure out which projects they want to bring forward for our tamariki. I do know that the tamariki's concerns in the first instance where there's no drinking fountains or places to have a drink anywhere on site down there, except for in the buildings that are locked. There's no rubbish bins there. But I'm just waiting for that engagement. And what they have said is they're not looking at doing big things. They're just trying to find some little things that they can put in place. And it's just a matter of getting that group all back together and finding the time when they can all create that space to have that conversation so that we can therefore make the application to the board.
Roddy. So just a degree of comfort around Councillor Kapa's acknowledgement of our current projects is Simpson Park and the Reserve Management Plan is number one on the board, priority on the board's list. And should we grant this funding this evening, the balance of funds would go to starting the some of those small projects at Simpson Park, if that should happen this side of this financial year before 30th of June. Failing that, we will be looking to the next round of Pride of Place funding to roll that project out and continue with the next phases of what Roddy comes up with within his community.
Madam Chair, just through the chair for a minute. Roddy, is there a town water supply at Simpson?
The town water supply, yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Just back to, sorry, Te Pua Waitanga, is there any water going to be available for the start of the season?
Potable water, Amy, drinking water?
No, it's not at this stage. There is water supply at Te Pua Waitanga. There is no drinking fountains to access that. It's something that is in the works to progress.
I think it'd be good
that we will continue to look at. So we have informed the codes of that, and that they need to put out a notice to all the clubs who play at the fields that there isn't any drinkable water or potable water on site, and to make sure that they bring adequate water with them on the days that they're playing there. So the clubs have agreed to that.
Thanks for that, Kim, and thanks, Amy, for identifying that, because we have discussed that, and we may have to get a little bit innovative, as we are aware around the district there is a lot of portable water supply, treated water supply containers and trailers and things. So, people need to start thinking a little bit outside the square, and the codes need to come together and get together. And, it's not for us to do everything. That needs to be driven also by the user groups, and a wider conversation needs to be had about their needs. Kim, I just wanted to touch on signage. Can you just inform the members in relation to, we're looking at supporting this, considering supporting this. Should we agree and be successful to actually enable this facility to be fit for purpose on the 25th of April. Can you assure us that the board will have the correct acknowledgement and that we'll be looking at bilingual signage, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. So there has been a large work of programs done on signage. Te Pua Waitangi will have its own design and kind of brand, and that will include recognition of those who have funded the project, so PGF, COVID-19 funding, Council, Bay of Islands-Whangaroa, etc. So there will be acknowledgement as part of that signage work, as well as at the opening on the 24th, which I hope you can all make it to. There will be acknowledgement there and in any media releases that Council does as well. And this in itself will have its own story come up from Council.
Yeah, but you're telling me the bronze statues are not going forward?
Maybe not bronze statues-ish, but as well as I'm sure that Jane is more than happy to put a story up on the Facebook page as well. So no, there'll be plenty of recognition, as well as the sports codes also know that the funding is coming from the Bay of Islands-Whangaroa Community Board.
Just one thing I wanted to add for Kim is there is a chance the signage might not be in place for the actual opening, but it is in train to be put on site. We are hopeful it will be ready in time, but it may be that it has to be staggered as it becomes available.
Yeah, due to the size of the area, there's a lot of signs. It's not just one or two signs, it's a lot of signs.
A proliferation of signs.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that, but there's probably some little placemaking projects in there with pictures and things rather than lots of wordy boards. But anyway,
a lot of health and safety hazarded signs.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, of course. Surrounds. And the fencing, will that be in situ before the opening, Nadine? Yep. Lovely.
It certainly will at this. Yes, all reports are very positive on that.
Yeah. So today, when we visited the site, all the posts are in place. The majority of them have 3 wires going across, with 2 more to be added, and then all the little posts, so as well as the main gate to be added.
Wonderful. Okay. So, any further questions, queries, discussions around this before we put this to the vote? Want to write a reply, Lane?
No, I'm fine.
Happy?
Thank you.
Jane, you're happy with that?
Yes, I'm happy with that. Thank you, Kim, for the report.
Yes, and thanks, Nadine, for taking time out to be here. So with that, I will put the recommendation as read, A, B, C, and D. I guess my only query in relation to D, Kim, would be, should we have up to $30,000 in that final point, seeing as we don't have a fixed quote yet for the...
Yep, no, that makes sense.
How does the board feel about that?
Yeah, that's fine, Madam Chair.
So we'll just add up to, if Lane and Jane as movers and seconder are happy with that. And
happy with that.
Yes.
Yeah, happy.
Okay, right. With that, I'll put the recommendation. All those in support, put your hand up.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Against? It's carried. Thank you very much. And that's all the business we have for this evening. And I will ask Councillor Kappa to close us with a karakia, please.
Mihi ana te tātou katoa. E te tuko taumatu ki te mutunga o tere kuikuinga, I raro I o manakitanga. Āmene.
Āmene.
Āmene. Thank you all for taking time out and go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.